Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Daily Drop number 59. Well, today has been a fast and furious day in the news of the Jeffrey Epstein case, right? We've had the interview with Virginia Roberts, and we've just had bombshell after bombshell that's being released. So we're going to do 3 articles tonight instead of 1. I didn't want to just drop another episode and clog up your download section, so I decided to just put three articles into tonight's daily drop and go from there. So what we learned from that interview today was pretty much a lot of things that we knew already, but it reinforced Virginia Roberts' story, right? It reinforced what she has been saying. She's the same details over and over and over again. She hasn't deviated from her story. And the evidence is certainly mounting that Prince Andrew was certainly a lot more involved than he lets on to be. So our first article tonight will be from the Daily Mail, and it has to do with 5 more women that are coming forward that say they want Andrew to testify. They say that he saw things at Jeffrey Epstein's house. So we're going to get into that, see what that article has to say. We have another article about the shocking email that was uncovered from Prince Andrew to Ghislaine Maxwell. And boy, those details are going to be pretty insane when we jump into that article. I haven't read this exact article, but I've read a little bit about the email itself so far. And oh my Lord, this guy, I mean, are you kidding me? It's really a true story. He really is the George Bush of the family, because he is absolutely positively a numbskull. This dude is just completely moronic. And our third article will be about the Crown Princess of Norway. She says she regrets her Epstein ties as well. I mean, just another regular day for the royals, cavorting and gallivanting with pedophiles and sex offenders. Boy, what a beautiful world, huh? These people get to run around, live their lavish lifestyles, collect money from the taxpayer, to go on all these crazy vacations masked as work. Oh, and while they're on those vacations, let me slip away for a little while and, rape a kid. Or let me go ahead and see what good old Jeff Epp is up to. Maybe he has something better for me, something juicy for me. I mean, really, dude? That's the way these people think, right? So it's pretty gross to see that there's another royal who has ties with him. And the question again is, why? And a female at that. That just makes me, I just don't even understand why a crown princess would want to be around this sick dude. If you'd like to reach me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. All right, let's hop into these articles and see what's what. First article, headline, Fox News. Crown Princess Mette Marit of Norway says she regrets her ties to Jeffrey Epstein. And I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong. I don't know. I don't speak Norwegian. Crown Princess Mette Marit of Norway is speaking about meeting accused pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. I never would have associated with Mr. Epstein if I had been aware of the seriousness of the crimes he committed, the 46-year-old told the Norwegian daily publication Dagens Næringsliv on Monday. Through years of work with questions regarding international health issues, I have witnessed firsthand the kind of damage sexual assault does to women and children, she continued. We all have a responsibility to fight sexual assault and to support the victims. I wish to express my deepest sympathy of solidarity to the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. So now you feel bad? Why? Because somebody probably is about to put you on blast and say, oh, well, guess what? The Crown Princess of Norway, she used to hang out with this guy too. That's probably what's occurring, so she has to save face. A rep for the Royal House of Norway confirmed to Fox News Mette Marit stood by her statement to the outlet. The Royal Palace also confirmed to the outlet that Mette Marit and Epstein met socially, mostly in the United States. One meeting did occur in Norway's capital, Oslo. Okay, so how many meetings, all right, did that took place? Oh, and one of them was in 2012, I see, coming up, huh? Oh, this just gets better and better. One of the meetings took place at Mr. Epstein's home, said Guri Varp, head of communications at the palace. The Crown Princess also had a brief meeting with Mr. Epstein while he was in Oslo. There were other people present in all the meetings. When the Crown Princess and the Crown Prince were on vacation in St. Bart's in 2012, they ran into Mr. Epstein on the street. Crown Prince Haakon, Mette Marit's husband, then met Epstein for the first and only time. Oh, yeah. Okay, they just happened to run into him on the street in St. Bart's, huh? They just happened to run into him. And it was the first time that the husband of this crown prince, this crown princess has ever met him. Let's be clear. Let's go on record with that. Let's make sure we're on record with that. Let's save more, as much face as we possibly can. Oh, it's so annoying. These people are so annoying. Why are they still held on such a pedestal? Why do people care about so-called royalty? It's such a foreign idea to me. No pun intended, I guess. Varp also shared the royal couple was not aware of Epstein's past. Okay, they don't have the news over in Norway? Give me a break. They weren't aware of his past, huh? Right. During the time the Crown Princess had contact with Mr. Epstein, she was not aware of the scope nor the character of the crimes he had been convicted of, and subsequently served time in jail. She was naturally not aware of the crimes that had been uncovered later. Oh, naturally. No, but some moron sitting around at his computer all day reading articles knows. Nobody in your circle knew. Right? I'm just some regular old guy sitting around reading the news, and I find out a ton of information about people like Jeffrey Epstein. You're telling me nobody in your circle, nobody in your detail was curious about who Epstein was, why you were meeting him, what he got in trouble for, if you should be meeting him. No, that didn't matter, because guess what? You're the Crown Princess. You don't you don't care. You do whatever you want. You'll do whatever you want, Crown Princess, and then you'll try and save face. In 2013, Mette Marit chose to conclude her association with Mr. Epstein, Varpe continued. Partly, this was because she felt that Mr. Epstein attempted to trade on the relationship he had with the Crown Princess and use it for his own gain in other relations. Yeah, well, that's not what Jeffrey Epstein ever had done. I mean, come on. That's not his M.O. The outlet shared they had investigated any Norwegian connections Epstein may have had. According to their investigation, Epstein and Mette Marit have met several times between 2011 and 2013 after being introduced through mutual acquaintances. Okay, so again, a person who met him after he was convicted of sex trafficking and prostitution with a minor and the whole shebang. Another rich so-called elite decides it's a good idea to cavort and hang out with this dude. The outlet alleged Epstein attempted to bring one Eastern European woman to Norway 8 or 9 years ago. While Epstein visited Norway at least once during the 2010s, none of the private jets connected to the disgraced financier are registered as visiting Norway at that time. Yeah, well, that doesn't mean anything. You're telling me a guy like Epstein can't get those logs, buttered up? Yeah, okay. Britain's Prince Andrew is facing intense media scrutiny after Virginia Roberts claimed she was trafficked by Epstein and forced to have sex with the Duke of York on 3 occasions nearly 20 years ago. Roberts, now known as Virginia Joffrey, spoke out on a BBC interview airing Monday evening in the UK where she addressed the 59-year-old's denial of her allegations against him. He knows what happened, I know what happened, and there's only one of us telling the truth, she declared. The BBC aired an interview with Prince Andrew November 14th in which the second son of Elizabeth II discussed his friendship with Epstein and the sexual assault allegations against him. The royal claimed he had no recollection of ever meeting Roberts, none whatsoever. The Duke of York also implied that a now famous photograph showing him with his hand around Roberts' waist was doctored. I have absolutely no memory of that photograph, the prince insisted. I'm afraid to say that I don't believe that photograph was taken in the way that has been suggested. The interview has been widely considered a public relations disaster for Andrew. Yeah, that's stating it lightly. Who announced shortly after it aired that he would be stepping down from his royal duties. Roberts has claimed Epstein paid her to have sex with Andrew on 3 occasions starting in 2001, including once in London. She says she was 17 when they first had sex. Epstein died August 10th after being found unconscious in a Manhattan jail cell where he was awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges. His death has been ruled a suicide, allegedly. U.S. officials are still looking into the case, and a number of civil lawsuits against Epstein's estate are in progress. All right, so that is our next royal that is involved in this nonsense. Mette Marit, the Crown Princess of Norway, folks. Let me present our next sicko. It's like a revolving door of so-called elite sickos. So, let's go into the next article, which is from the Daily Mail. The headline of this article is, "Now 5 more women want Prince Andrew to testify. Accusers say Duke saw Jeffrey Epstein abusing them and must speak to the FBI." Well, yeah, what do you think? Out there, folks, you think he should be speaking to the FBI? I certainly do. 5 of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers want Prince Andrew to give evidence in U.S. courts and say the Duke must talk about what he witnessed to the FBI. So obviously these girls are saying that he's lying and that he did see something, because he says he saw nothing when he was there. Nothing was untoward. Nothing was out of order. But these girls are saying something completely different. So now it's not just his word against one person's word. It's his word against 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people now. So I know he's a prince and all, but does his word carry that much weight? Their lawyer claims the Duke of York witnessed men being given massages at the financier's homes. Financier? Pedophile. The BBC's Panorama program revealed on Monday night. Pre-trial witness subpoenas have been prepared for the 5 cases and could be served on the prince if he was ever to set foot in the United States again. Prince Andrew has said he never saw anything untoward at Epstein's properties in New York, Florida, or the Caribbean. Well, no, you didn't see anything untoward because you were involved in things that were untoward. You're such a liar. God, this guy's such a liar. The lawyer for the 5 women, David Boies, told Panorama, "One of the things that we have tried is to interview Prince Andrew and try to get what his explanation is. He was a frequent visitor. They ought to submit to an interview. They ought to talk about it." Look, David Boies is a scummy, super powerful lawyer, blah, blah, blah. But he's not right. He's not wrong about what he's saying here. He's definitely not wrong about what he's saying. The guy was there all the time. He was always around him. At the very least, he was an enabler. He needs to be brought in, and he needs to be talked to. Pretty simple. Lawyers for the victims claim they have written to the prince twice requesting an interview but have yet to receive a response. Prince Andrew last month was asked by the BBC whether he would ever testify under oath, and he replied, "If push came to shove and the legal advice was to do so, then I would be duty-bound to do so." Well, guess what? There's his caveat, right? The legal advice will not be to do so, my friend. The legal advice will be to shut your yap, because I have news for you, buddy. If you go under oath, you are going to prison. Virginia Roberts has previously described how it would have been impossible to spend time with Epstein and not know what was going on. That's obvious to anyone who's paying attention to this case. Go back, listen to the Daily Drops, and then listen to all of the excuses from the people who allegedly took part in all of this, who allegedly enabled all of this. Oh, I don't know, I didn't see anything, blah, 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 blah. Bunch of liars. Describing Epstein's Manhattan mansion, Prince Andrew told Emily Maitlis, "There were a lot of people who were walking around Jeffrey Epstein's house. As far as I was aware, they were staff. There were people that were working for him, doing things." Oh, yeah, people just doing things. A whole place running around, and people are just doing things. And it's such a busy place that you chose to stay there for 5 days when you could have your pick of wherever you want to stay in a great place like New York City, which offers accommodations for everybody. Never mind a prince. You could add a whole floor probably if you wanted. But no, you go and stay at the pedophile's house because it's the honorable thing to do. Oh, boy. He added, "I interacted with them, if you will, to say good morning, good afternoon, but I didn't, if you see what I mean, interact with them in a way that was, what are you doing here? Why are you here? What's going on?" Ugh, really? That's not what anybody's asking you. Nobody's asking you to be, Inspector Gadget. Nobody's asking you to be, a Sherlock Holmes, show up with your pipe and your stupid hat, but I'm sure you have both of them, you goofy son of a bitch. How about just, an average, just be a decent human being, huh? A decent human being that calls people out on their shit. Is that too much to ask? Old princely old boy? The 5 women who are suing Epstein's estate would still require a judge to sign off on the draft subpoenas, and Prince Andrew could then fight them in court if he did not wish to provide evidence. That is definitely what he will do, folks. You heard it here first. He will not, I repeat, will not go under oath unless he's subpoenaed and forced to do so. Tonight on Panorama, Miss Roberts told how she was trafficked by Epstein to have sex with Andrew, which the Duke of York categorically denies. She told the BBC's Panorama the people on the inside are going to keep coming up with these ridiculous excuses like his arm was elongated or the photo was doctored or he came to New York to break up with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, come on, I'm calling BS on this because that's what it is. Yeah, well, we've been calling it right there with you, Miss Roberts. Every single episode, I feel like I'm saying the same exact things. I mean, but guess what? Repetitiveness. We're going to hammer the point home. We are going to hammer the point home on this podcast, and I do not care. Sticking to her story, she described feeling horrified, disgusted, and ashamed after sex with Prince Andrew when she was 17 at the direction of Jeffrey Epstein's alleged Madam Ghislaine Maxwell. The 35-year-old told the BBC that after leaving Tramp nightclub with Prince Andrew, in the car, Ghislaine tells me that I have to do for Andrew what I do for Jeffrey. And that made me sick. I didn't expect it from royalty. I didn't expect it from someone that people look up to and admire, the royal family. Well, that's very naive thinking, unfortunately, and the thinking of a child, because we all know that these people are sick. All you got to do is read history and see how sick the royals were throughout history, across the whole entire world. I'm not just singling out England, but let's be real. She said, "There was a bath, and it started there, and it led into the bedroom. It didn't last very long, the whole entire procedure. It was disgusting. He wasn't mean or anything, but he got up, he said thanks, and he walked out. And I sat there in the bed, just felt horrified and ashamed, and I felt dirty." She added, "I had just been abused by a member of the royal family." Her words, folks, not mine. Not he said, she said, not hearsay, not I heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend. Let me read it to you again. She added, "I had just been abused by a member of the royal family. Point blank, period." She also told the BBC that she knew she had to keep him happy because that's what Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's then girlfriend, would have expected from me. Miss Roberts urged the British public to stand up beside me to help me fight this fight and not accept this as being okay. Andrew, 59, has categorically denied having sex with Miss Roberts and apologized for his association with Epstein, who died in prison in August in what New York City officials said was a suicide, allegedly. The prince has stepped down from royal duties for the foreseeable future because of his friendship with Epstein. Aw, the poor prince had to step down. It's not because of his association with Epstein. Oh, no. It's because he himself is a sick bastard, and his own family knows it, his brother knows it, and Mummy even knows it looks like. Prince Philip knows it, Winston Churchill's grandson knows it, we know it, he knows it, and everyone who's paying attention knows it. All right, our next article. Prince Andrew's bombshell email to Ghislaine Maxwell uncovered. Emails between Prince Andrew and close friend Ghislaine Maxwell uncovered in a BBC documentary have thrown doubt on his claims that he did not recall meeting his accuser, Virginia Roberts, in 2001. And, of course, this is a very important article, folks. What it does is it proves that he's a liar, obviously. And what it also does is give Miss Roberts even that much more credibility. And that's what it's all about in cases like this. We weren't there, right? We didn't see what happened. We have to go on what has happened in the past and the evidence provided to us here and now. And the evidence that's provided to us here and now, I have news for you. It is damning. And this article here, this is the nail in the coffin for me. How he cannot be arrested now and all of them arrested for RICO is beyond me. And it makes me wonder. It really, truly makes me wonder. The BBC's Panorama aired a bombshell interview with the former sex slave who alleges she was trafficked by convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein and made to have sex with Prince Andrew 3 times in 2001 and 2002 when she was 17 years old. Think about that, folks. 17 years old, a junior in high school. And, like I said before, it's not like she was a junior in high school and this guy was in his first year of college and they had met and whatever. We're talking about a full-on predator here, folks. We are talking about a man in his 50s, 60 years old with all the money in the world preying on girls from broken homes that have nothing. Miss Roberts, then known as Virginia Roberts, Virginia Roberts first made the claim she had sex with Prince Andrew in 2015. The new Panorama interview contained explicit details of the night Miss Roberts alleges she was made to have sex with Prince Andrew in March 2001, including claims that it didn't last very long, the whole entire procedure. It was disgusting. He wasn't mean or anything. He just got up and walked out, she said. Prince Andrew has said he has no recollection of meeting Miss Roberts, denied having sex with her, and has suggested a picture of them in a London townhouse is a fake. However, an email between Prince Andrew and Miss Maxwell in 2015 aired on Panorama after being found buried in thousands of pages of legal documents show the pair had discussed her at one point. Let me know when we can talk. Got some specific questions to ask you about Virginia Roberts, Prince Andrews wrote Miss Maxwell. She replies, have some info. Call me when you have a moment. Okay, so subpoena all of those records. Why isn't that stuff all subpoenaed already? I don't understand why that's not occurring. Panorama reported that 3 days later, Miss Maxwell sent Prince Andrew a dossier of inconsistencies and inaccuracies in articles about Miss Roberts. Panorama host Dara McIntyre said the exchange showed Miss Maxwell did not suggest via email the picture was faked, as friends of Prince Andrew have later suggested. Oh, well, here's some breaking news to go along with the fact that water is wet and the sky is blue. They didn't suggest the picture was fake, folks, because it's not. They know it's not. They're not living in a fantasy land when they're talking to each other. What they're doing is formulating a strategy of defense. In his Newsnight appearance, Prince Andrew had strongly denied having any recollection of even meeting Miss Roberts. I don't remember meeting her at all. I do not remember the photograph being taken, and I've said consistently and frequently that we have never had any sexual contact whatsoever, he told presenter Emily Maitlis. Asked if he had a message for the young woman in the photograph that has dogged the Duke for years, he said, I don't have a message for her. I have to have a thick skin if somebody is going to make those allegations. I'm at a loss to explain this particular photograph. You don't have a message for her? Well, I have a message for you. All right, Prince Andrew? Hope you're listening loud and clear. The predator has become the prey. Panorama also heard more about the role of Miss Maxwell in helping to corral girls for Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein accuser Sarah Ransom, 22, told the show Ghislaine controlled the girls. She was like the madam. During a 2-day visit to London in March 2001, Miss Roberts claimed to have been staying at the home of Maxwell, Epstein's girlfriend, where Maxwell was bad-mouthing Prince Andrew's ex-wife Sarah Ferguson, and Epstein was socially awkward when Prince Andrew came around. So this is before he probably had the blackmail information on Andrew, before he completely had the whole situation locked in, right? Still socially awkward around them, blah, blah, blah. According to Miss Roberts, they then went to Tramp nightclub where she danced with the royal, who was the most hideous dancer I had ever seen in my life. It was horrible, and this guy was sweating all over me. I mean, his sweat, it was raining basically everywhere, and I was just grossed out from it, she said. But I knew I had to keep him happy because that's what Jeffrey and Ghislaine would have expected from me. She also explained that it was in the car ride to Maxwell's London house that she was given the order to have sex with the Queen's son. In the car, Ghislaine tells me that I have to do for Andrew what I do for Jeffrey, and it just made me sick, she told the BBC. I just didn't expect it from royalty. I didn't expect it as someone people look up to and admire in the royal family. Miss Roberts explained that her sexual encounter with Prince Andrew began in the bath and then moved to another part of the house. It didn't last very long, the whole entire procedure. It was disgusting. He wasn't mean or anything, but he got up and he said thanks and walked out, she said. And I sat there in bed just horrified and ashamed, and I felt dirty, and I had to get up and have a shower. The next day, Ghislaine Maxwell tells me, "You've done a really good job." She pats me on the back and said, "You've made him really happy." It was at this point in the interview that Miss Roberts broke down. It was a wicked time in my life. It was a really scary time. I had just been abused by a member of a royal family, so when you talk about these chains, yeah, I wasn't chained to the sink, but these powerful people were my chains. I didn't know what could happen. I couldn't comprehend how in the highest levels of the government, powerful people were allowing this to happen. Not only allowing it to happen, but participating in it. Look, from her own mouth, the girl who's been trafficked is just corroborating what we've been talking about. The breadcrumbs have all led us here, and here she is corroborating what we've been saying, folks. This goes to the very stratosphere of our lives. The very people in power. Prince Andrew declined to answer detailed questions from the BBC, but did provide a statement. The Duke of York unequivocally regrets his ill-judged association with Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein's suicide, allegedly, left many unanswered questions. In particular for his victims, the statement said, the Duke deeply sympathizes with those affected who want some form of closure. It is his hope that in time they will be able to rebuild their lives. The Duke is willing to help any appropriate law enforcement agency with their investigations if required. Well, let's get some help then, Duke. If you're willing to help, then let's see some action, all right? Words are wind. We want some action. But to the audience out there, I would not hold your breath. He is not going to talk willingly. He is going to have to be compelled to speak. This is a man who has grown up with enormous privilege, folks. Enormous privilege. Privilege like most people, even rich people, don't understand. The royal family of England, all right? The Queen's second son is involved in trafficking of human beings. If that doesn't disgust you, if that doesn't disturb you, if that doesn't horrify you, if that doesn't anger you, you might want to check your pulse. Because I have to tell you right now, as we sit here, there is zero doubt in my mind, in my opinion, that Prince Andrew is as guilty as the desert is hot. This dude is so guilty that his own family have yanked him away from public life. They haven't rallied around him. They haven't stood up and said, hey, wait a minute, that's not the Andrew we know. He would never do that. What have they done? They have completely, the people closest to him have abandoned him. The only people that haven't abandoned him, well, are his co-conspirators, folks. Am I the only one that's putting the pieces together here? These people are incredibly sick. And they've been so brazen for so long, throwing it on our face of what they're doing. And now, when they've finally been caught and they're being exposed, they're being shown to be not as smart, not as bright, not as quick, not as slick as they would want you to think they are. Because their party is quickly coming to an end. And as I've been saying all day today, and I'll keep saying it, the predator has become the prey. And we're going full force, foot all the way down, accelerator all the way down, not letting up. We're going to be here every day. My big fat yap is going to be running. As long as you guys are listening, my fat yap will be running, because everybody who knows me in real life knows that I have a few opinions. And when I have those opinions and I feel strongly about something, I will let people know. And folks, I am letting you know right now, I will not let up. I will be here every single day with this podcast. I will be here dropping these dailies, dropping breaking news, and hoping to grow. Right? Hoping to grow and extend my ability to cover this story. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. But like everything else, you know, it takes time And time is money, and so I'm dedicating as much of my time as possible to this right now. Every bit of time that I can is dedicated to this story, folks, because we need justice. We've come this far, and we're not gonna quit. We're not gonna be appeased. We're not gonna be appeased with some low-level prison guards. We're not gonna be appeased with just some interviews. Justice for the victims or bust, and that is it. All right, everybody. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That is BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. If you would like to support the show, the GoFundMe link will be in the description box. And I will be back tomorrow for another daily drop, the morning update, and whatever the day may bring us. And remember, folks, together, we can make media great again.